Shelby. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm so glad I connected correctly.
Yeah, I know. We're here. Awesome. Thank you
Yay.
to everyone who's here live. I'm going to be asking Shelby some questions today to learn a little bit more about her experience. If you have questions that come up, feel free to pop it in the chat box. We have a Mindbloom moderator here with us today who will also be answering your questions, and we might be able to answer some of your questions live here as well. So Shelby, first, just want to thank you so much for being here today to share your story. We are so grateful to be able to share with everyone what your experience has been like.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. And it's kind of been like a dream of mine to inspire others. And I feel like this is like my passion now. So I'm really excited and just like super thankful for this opportunity to work with you guys and to share, of course.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right. So let's get into it. So Shelby, tell me a little bit more about you, and would love to hear what was your journey that led you to Mindbloom?
Yes. So I am a nurse practitioner. I'm originally from Arkansas and I live in Scottsdale now. I also am an entrepreneur. So a little bit about what kind of led me to Mindbloom was I had some COVID trauma as a nurse. And I knew something was wrong, and it was like time to go ahead and take a little bit more initiative in my life. And I started doing some research and was like, I need to do ketamine therapy. And that's just really kind of what led it. And I really felt like antidepressants really weren't working for me. And I wanted something a little bit more, something a little bit deeper, and to kind of just like start doing the work and like start the healing journey.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, as
Sure.
you started the program, you were led to Mindbloom, and what was the experience like? What parts of yourself did you rediscover as you were going through the
Yeah.
program?
So being a healthcare provider, I feel like we definitely don't take care of ourselves very well, and we constantly are serving others, and we lose a little bit of ourselves during that process. And some of that we, then incorporate into our normal life, into our day-to-day life that's away from the bedside. And I just kind of, have been able to now rediscover like what self-love really is and the difference between self-love and self-care. So I thought self-care was just going to get your nails done and having a spa day. But that's not really self-care. Self-care is boundary setting. Self-care is saying no when you feel like, you were used to saying yes so much as a child or yes so much as a healthcare provider. And I also just feel like I'm more connected to my emotions. And I like that. I like being softer and not really just like stuck in my masculine as a CEO.
Yeah, wow, that's so powerful, especially the difference between self-love and self-care. And it's so
Yes.
interesting being in the industry as a healthcare provider. You're very much a giver, and it's
Right.
interesting how it's being able to give to ourselves is also so important. And I love that you were able to have that insight. So, how did having that insight maybe shift your relationship with yourself?
Yeah, it shifted the relationship with myself as like me having a full self-care day, which is nice. And incorporating into my practice, I kind of left some of the activities in my life that were causing me to kind of stay stuck in a trauma response. Just like bringing that self-awareness there, I feel like ketamine has really done that for me and given me a lot of self-awareness. Now, it's still hard to work through those things when you are triggered or if you feel like you're going into fight or flight. That's definitely hard, but it's definitely helped me to snap out of it quicker.
Yeah, that's really powerful because, often sometimes people feel like, when they do the medicine, all our problems go away. But really, the medicine is a tool, and
Yeah,
work continues even after and in
it
between sessions.
does.
So it sounds like you were really engaged with the process as you were kind of working with the medicine.
Yeah, and I really feel like I learned that I had a very big ego
Oh,
and
yeah. Tell me
that
more.
with this, you know, that's where that trauma response comes in. And you kind of have to just learn, like, in business and in relationships, to silence the ego and to just allow that self-awareness to be there. And that's where I think change occurs, is when you're allowed to silence the ego. And I feel like, you know, my relationship with myself has improved, my relationship with my family has improved by boundary setting.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and just within business, you know, I have more patience with my team and more patience with others.
Oh, interesting. So the going through the treatment also helped you with the business. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I've actually just met with my CPA yesterday, and I doubled my business in a year. I know, so exciting. And I kind of owe some of that to ketamine. You know, I was struggling last year in my business and coming out of a relationship too. And I was like, okay, it's time to do ketamine again. And that's when I decided to do this like longer, or I did a short stint at that time.
Okay.
But I kind of, every time I'm going through a hard time, I kind of like go back to the whole ketamine because it gives me so much insight. And it's definitely helped me grow my business because I've improved as a person. And typically, when the person's doing well, the business will do well as well.
Wow. I love that. You know, Mindbloom talks a lot about transforming lives so we can transform the world. And I think that is like a
Yeah.
perfect example. It's like first the transformation happens within yourself, and then
Yes.
it extends externally through business, family, relationships, all of that. So,
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's the goal, is to improve my quality of life. And I think that healing a lot of my trauma through ketamine, through therapy, has really, I mean, it's been a big impact. It's made a big impact in my life for sure.
that's so powerful. So tell me a little bit more about how did the ketamine shift your relationship to maybe some of the past traumas that you had?
Yeah, I feel like I have the ability now to connect with very challenging emotions. I have very challenging conversations a lot in business, especially being female. And, you know, being able to understand what emotion am I feeling and why am I feeling this way, and just like sitting with it. And a lot of the times just knowing that, like, hey, okay, someone hurt my feelings, or maybe they're not being considerate. Maybe that's all that they can really do, you know,
Um,
like understanding their perspective. But just because I understand their perspective doesn't mean I need to stay.
sure. What would
Yeah.
you say was your relationship with your emotions before during the program, and then like what did it shift into?
You know, I feel like I grew up not really knowing what emotions were, even love, right? Not that I had a bad upbringing, I just, a lot of like not talking about emotions, or if we're sad or if we're happy, you know, it's like
Yeah,
the only good emotion is what we talk about is when we're happy.
right.
And I think that just shifted for me. Even going into nursing, I felt like really numb a lot. Like I just felt numb. I felt like I don't feel things. Like I'm like, I never cry, you know, I never do this. This was years ago. And now I feel like a little softy because I do allow my emotions to come in and to flow and to release that. And I think it's really important to be connected to self, because that's when you start making good decisions for yourself. And when you allow those emotions to flow and know that you do have emotions, I feel like that opens up room for connection. Right. But yeah,
Okay.
I have deeper connections now because of Mindbloom, and I feel like this will also, like, me being connected with my emotions and having boundaries is definitely going to lead me to a healthy relationship and a healthy partner. And that's, you know, I'm definitely excited about that and just doing the work.
I love that. And we have a question that came in. I would love to ask. So the question is, what made Shelby finally decide to try Mindbloom versus other options?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can totally answer that. I am a busy girl, and I didn't really have time to go get an IV and be there for hours for the infusion. and having a driver, and it just was a lot to organize. And with
Right.
Mindbloom, it was super easy. It's all in the app. Even connecting with the clinician, the nurse practitioner, it was just easy to book. You just like, I could compare my schedule and do everything online. They mail you the meds. It was just so much easier
Yeah.
than going in to do like an IV form.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot from people. That's what I
Yeah.
love about mine too. You can do it in the comfort of your own home,
Mhm.
have someone you trust near you, and then you don't need a driver or someone to take you somewhere. And then that whole thing takes like 3 hours as well. And yes, the app, I love the app as well.
Yeah.
What are your like maybe favorite things about the program as you were going through it?
Well, one, my favorite is the music that you guys choose.
That would be mine
And
too.
yeah, and I'm definitely an Alan Watts fan
Yeah.
now. Even if I'm having like a bad day or a hard time, I really connect with music a lot. Like I've never been like a TV watcher, and I feel like it's very powerful, just like music and like meditation. So if I'm having a bad day, I typically listen to Alan Watts or like high energy music to just kind of get back upbeat or things like that. So, but I love the music with Mind Bloom and the meditation that comes with it and just the convenience for sure.
Yeah. Same. I wasn't really into Alan Watts before, or maybe I didn't even know
I
about him,
didn't,
but now I'm like Googling his talks because of Mindbloom. Like,
yeah,
so good.
I know. I
Uh,
love his voice too. It's very
really,
soothing.
very soothing. Like, it's
Hmm.
like all in the world is okay when you hear Alan Watts.
Exactly.
How about in between sessions? Were there any like specific kind of practices or things that you were doing in between your sessions?
Yeah, so in between my sessions, kind of outside of Mind Bloom, I um, ended up getting some business mentors to kind of help me go through the business aspect to handle the stress that comes with that. And the other things that I've added in was kind of like not really a life coach. She's a therapist, but she, oh, it says the live is going in and out, but it's been helpful.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're gonna
But I have been
have this
working.
saved as well, so
Okay.
we'll be able to
Oh,
rewatch it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have a therapist who is also kind of like a spiritual guide, and she has been kind of like guiding me through some decisions. And so that mixed in with Mind Bloom and the ketamine has completely transformed my life. Um, 3 months I've had Jacqueline since April, and we have went through a lot together. But she sees my growth. I meet with her every 2 weeks to every 4 weeks, just depending on like
Yeah.
stressors. And having her, and I have a naturopath doctor here in Scottsdale as well, just to like get me off my antidepressant
Yeah.
too that I was on, and just really just like the whole team, just all three in conjunction have just changed my life. And I'm super thankful for all three of you guys.
Amazing.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people come wanting to either get off their antidepressants or they feel like it's not helping, like how you had mentioned as well.
Mhm.
So did you taper off of it like while you were going through the program, or were you already
You
starting that before?
know, I was kind of a little fearful to come off of
Right.
it during such a rocky year. I expanded my business, and it just wasn't good timing to try to wean. And I'm a busy girl, so like I can't have too many bad days. So I decided to wait towards the end of the year when I felt like things were settling down, and I've been off of it now 6 weeks, and I feel really good. I was only on it like a year,
Okay.
but it has, and another thing too, I think we haven't honed in a lot is I cut alcohol out of my life a year ago.
Okay.
I just celebrated my 1 year, and I realized it wasn't helpful for me anymore. I realized that maybe I was coping with some emotions with
Ah,
alcohol, and not that I felt like it was a big problem. I just felt like if I really want to elevate, I need to do this, I need to do this sober.
Yeah.
And so with that, half of my sobriety year I did without ketamine. And then the other half I've done with ketamine. And I will say with sobriety, it's a lot of emotions that you deal with. And I
Yeah.
think ketamine has made the sobriety a little easier to process some of the emotions and the feelings that I feel. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to like hone in on that about the
Yeah.
sobriety. Mhm.
Congratulations. That's so amazing. And I agree with the emotional aspect of it. I think that part is definitely the most challenging, especially because a lot of us have never been taught how to deal with emotions. Like you said, like I didn't
Mhm.
even know what they
Right.
were growing up.
Yeah. And
So,
trying to understand like what your emotions even are. It's a lot and it can be very overwhelming for people, which like myself. And so I feel like ketamine has just helped me view things so differently, view myself differently, give myself a little more grace.
yeah.
Um, I didn't even know that you were supposed to be kind to yourself or to take it slow. And that, that's all the trauma response. And so definitely a COVID ICU nurse understands that.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who is on the fence about Mindbloom? Like they're like, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I'll say like do your research, obviously other people sharing their journey is very important. And fear is there, I think, just from everyone because it's something new. Was I fearful? Yes. I think that's a normal feeling, but just knowing that you do have like a sitter in the home with you, that you have a watcher, right? Like you have someone here with you, and that you are supported through Mindbloom. You have your guide that you can talk to every week, that you can text. Any issues, I really haven't had any issues, but I feel comfortable like just booking an appointment with my doctor if I did have any issues. Um, but I definitely feel like ketamine is like, if people have been on antidepressants their whole life and they're like, I want to know who I am, because I felt like the antidepressant suppressed who I was. Right. And I'm like, I really want to discover like who I am as a person. Like, I'm 32. Like, I want to know who I am and what I bring to the table. And I feel like ketamine did that for me. Ketamine took me to the next level of healing and finding myself.
That's so beautiful. So it sounds like the medicine really helped you step into you and help you own
Mhm.
yourself, help you create kind of a sacred space, double your business.
Yeah, it's been great. Like all the work I put in this year with ketamine, and I'm on a treatment plan right now. I don't mind sharing. I'm still taking ketamine, and I'm taking it until April is like my 9-month plan. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what 2024 has in store, with all this healing
Yeah,
and all the goodness that has come with ketamine.
so good. Thank you so much. Any
Yeah.
other last words or anything you want to share with everyone about your experience or anything at all?
Yeah, I think that if anyone can relate to this, maybe you're socially drinking a lot and a little depressed, or, maybe you're running a business and you just feel so like lost and not sure like the next step. And, or even if you know that, hey, there's something wrong with me, I don't feel right. I mean, I reached out and I got help and I feel amazing now. Now, do I still have bad days? Yes, that's normal. It's part of healing. But, you can't be fearful until you try it, at least. But I think being fearful is very common, even with my nurses that have asked me about it, because I was fearful as a nurse. I'm like, I put people to sleep with this in the hospital, but you only get a certain percentage absorbed, right, orally. It's safe to do in the home, obviously, at the doses that they are giving. And I haven't had any complications with it. And it's been a big blessing in my life.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a blessing to have you here today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with
Of
us.
course. Thank you for guiding me with it.
Yeah, Absolutely. It's been so wonderful to meet you. Wishing you well through the rest of your journey,
Thank
and
you.
lots more abundance and happiness to come. And thank you, everyone, for being here with us live.
I
I know,
Thank you guys.
yeah, this has been super fun. We'll be posting this video on our page at Mindbloom, so definitely check out the rest of the interview. If you came in a little bit late, we'll be here and we'll be doing more of these, so be sure to follow our page here. Super excited to continue these conversations. We will see you in the Mindbloom community. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you.